Over the last couple years, cozy games have exploded in popularity, so much that it seems like every month there's a slew of new cozy games promising to be the next big coziest thing.
10 newly announced cozy games,
10 brand new cozy games,
17 cozy games,
the top 20 most relaxing and cozy games,
50 cozy game recommendations,
100 plus cozy games.
You done lost your damn mind.
But recently, it appears that things have gotten a little too cozy. And by that I mean, it seems like cozy games are doing less cozying and more sucking. Well, that wasn't supposed to be an innuendo. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is a lot of cozy games these days are really bad.
An absolute mess.
Cozy games are becoming a bit of a problem.
The lazy, uninspired, and soulless copies.
They're starting to feel a little bit stale.
Cozy games are bad.
Just a few days ago, Tales of the Shire was released, which is a cozy game set in the Lord of the Rings universe. And believe me you, the hype for this game, especially in the cozy game community, was off the charts.
We all need to take a moment to scream together because Tales of the Shire comes out on the 29th.
It's a really big day in the cozy gaming world. Why, you ask? Because Tales of the Shire just dropped, okay?
And over the last few months, the developer of Tales of the Shire has sponsored several popular cozy influencers like Mad Morph.
And this video is sponsored by Private Division. Thank you to them for letting me play so I can share it with you.
Iona.
We are sponsored by Tales of the Shire today.
Gab Smolders.
So we are sponsored today. Thank you so much, Tales of the Shire and Private Division, for sponsoring the stream.
And of course, Cozy K.
I love when I'm already excited about a game and then we get to have a sponsorship. It's just like, it's meant to be. It's perfect.
By the way, somebody left a comment a few videos back saying, Cozy K is always at the scene of the crime. And you know what?
Hello.
You're right. Just to be clear, I have not played this game myself. I am a Lord of the Rings stan, but I'm more of a Shadow of Mordor type of guy.
What about Demi Lovato?
I haven't heard of him.
Instead of whatever the hell this is.
Oh my god, what is that?
Harry.
The feet are definitely feeding. Anyway, as you can imagine, the hype was real. The company behind this game spent a lot of money on influencer marketing, and there are a lot of people who are really looking forward to this game. But then, over the last few days, the reviews for Tales of the Shire started rolling in, and it turns out it's really bad. IGN gave it a 4 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 2 out of 5. GameSpot gave it a 4 out of 10. Baby, some of these reviews ate up them hobbitses and spat them out. So clearly, despite what some of the cozy game influencers who hyped the hell out of this game led some of you to believe,
Loading up the game and getting into the Shire truly felt like going home. Every single corner you could tell was painstakingly created.
Tales of the Shire is more like Fails of the Shire. And overall, it's just a mishandling of this iconic IP, right? Every time I see a game that's been really hyped up and got a ton of promo end up flopping in this way, I do feel pretty bad for the people who bought into the hype and ended up purchasing the game, because inevitably their experience will likely not live up to their expectations. And luckily, a lot of non-sponsored YouTubers made videos about Tales of the Shire, and they were definitely more honest than some of these other creators.
From laggy performance to clunky controls to a flat, lifeless world full of bland NPCs and a boring gameplay loop, there is a lot to unpack here.
I can already sniff out and tell you there is no replayability.
Tales of the Shire is easily one of the most expensive, yet worst games I've played in the past 5 years.
But here's the thing, okay? This situation with Tales of the Shire kind of feels like deja vu to me. Over the last couple years especially, it kind of feels like a lot of cozy games being released are just uninspired reskins of other cozy games. How many Stardew Valley knockoffs do we need? How many cutesy Animal Crossing ripoffs are necessary? How many farming life sims are required before the cozy gamers are satisfied? Just in the last year or so, I've witnessed the release of some of the most mediocre, unoriginal, and frankly, stupid cozy games. Garden Witch Life, Little Sim World, Pixelshire, Coco Life. They're not all terrible. I actually remember a few years back I played this game that my sister recommended called Wildflowers. It was a farming life sim with a magical twist that had a really good story. And while you could tell that it was inspired by games like Stardew Valley and probably Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon before that, Wildflowers wasn't derivative. It introduced new gameplay features, original themes, and had a really unique narrative. But these days, games like Wildflowers are the exception, not the norm. Not only has there been this rapid decline in the overall quality of cozy games, there's also a much darker side to this genre. You guys have no idea. I've seen a concerning amount of cozy games that either are straight up scams or just downright predatory. In a previous video, I talked about Puff Pal's Island Skies, which allegedly scammed $2.5 million from people on Kickstarter. Yeah, they raised $2.5 million to make a game that they never made. It's basically the Theranos of the cozy game genre. I've made videos discussing the predatory monetization of games like Palia and Infinity Nikki, both of which are free-to-play games that feature some insanely overpriced cosmetics. After I mentioned this indie game called Little SimWorld in a previous video, I got comments and I think even an email from people who told me about the mistreatment they endured while in the employ of the development company that made that game. And just recently, a channel here on YouTube called CozyGate published a video where they highlighted the history of toxic and abusive behavior by the creator of the cozy game Sunhaven.
In this video, you'll hear testimonies from 5 Sunhaven artists who worked for Pixel Sprout Studios.
What in the hell is going on with the games within this genre? Because this seems more like cozy hell to me. And to be honest, this is kind of why I'm so intrigued by cozy games, because these games and a lot of the content creators who promote them portray this really cutesy, innocent exterior. But when you peel back the cozy blanket, you find some of the most nefarious, dishonest, and straight up exploitative practices in gaming. In previous videos, I've discussed the incessant shilling that goes on by influencers within the cozy game genre. Let me tell you, the constant overhyping and overselling by content creators within this genre is the bane of my existence. Please tell me, how is it that every next best cozy game somehow ends up being the next worst?
That's a good question.
But these content creators are just a symptom of a much bigger problem, and that is big cozy. Over the last few years, we've seen cozy gaming kind of transform from being a genre dominated by indie developers to now being controlled by big businesses. Recently, Electronic Arts entered the cozy game market by re-releasing My Sims, which, let's be real, is just an Animal Crossing knockoff. But in a recent interview, an EA executive stated that the company plans to invest more heavily in cozy games moving forward. But EA is far from being the only multi-billion-dollar company that has slithered its way into the cozy game market. Disney Dreamlight Valley is a life sim cozy game published by Dreamloft. Now, despite the name and the Disney characters, this game has nothing to do with Disney as a company. They just license the IP from Disney, but Dreamloft is actually the subsidiary of another multi-billion-dollar company, the media conglomerate Vivendi. And Dreamlight Valley is the perfect example of how these mega corporations and their profit-first agendas can be super detrimental to players. You may remember the controversy that occurred when Dreamlight Valley angered a lot of its fans after it had originally promised that it would not have paid DLC during early access, only to turn around and sell paid DLC during early access. By the way, that's on top of a paid base game, season passes, in-game currency, and a premium shop. How much more can they monetize this game? Are they going to start charging players to look up Minnie Mouse's skirt? Actually, what is under there? Krafton's Dinkum and Square Enix's Harvestella are more examples of massive game companies that have dipped their grubby little paws into the cozy game genre. Even Palia, a Sims-like MMO, was founded by ex-Riot Games executives. In an interview, the co-founders of Palia stated that they were influenced by games like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, and that they wanted new players to create the coziest versions of themselves. That all sounds very cute and cozy, if you leave out the part where they introduced $50 outfits into the game and fired more than half their employees before the game even left early access. I want to be clear that I'm not saying all cozy games made by massive companies are terrible. I'm saying that their profit-first approach to game development is detrimental to us, the players. And it's certainly not just these big businesses that have played a role in the demise of the cozy game genre. There's a lot of awful, low-effort games made by indie studios as well. This genre has just become oversaturated with game developers wanting to make a quick buck. Again, all to the detriment of us. Circling back to Tales of the Shire, this game encapsulates exactly what I'm talking about. An undercooked, unoptimized mess sold to you via influencer marketing. Pixelshire, another cozy game that released earlier this year, was hyped to the gods, only to end up disappointing pretty much everyone who put their hands on it.
And I swear to never getting lured into the buggy world of Pixelshire ever again.
Pixelshire now has a 33% mostly negative rating on Steam. And there are dozens of games just like this. Sugar Dew Island, Everdream Valley, Star Nut Glory Hole. Okay, that last one I made up. By the way, the fact that a lot of these games can't even come up with titles that aren't knockoffs of other more popular games, that tells us all we need to know about the lack of innovation going on within the cozy game genre. I even found this game on Steam called Cozy Town, which appears to just be an Animal Crossing ripoff. And by that I mean, I'm seeing way too many animals with huge ass heads.
Oh my god.
If you put Animal Crossing, Hoko Life, and Cozy Town in a lineup, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one is which. They all terrify me equally. The fall of the House of Cozy is upon us. And as players, we need to be more mindful and aware of what games we purchase. After all, we're voting with our dollars, and when we pay money to support a development studio or a company that is engaging in these exploitative practices or very clearly just trying to make a quick buck, we're encouraging this behavior. And I also think my fellow content creators need to be more reticent about promoting and hyping up games that are really just not good. Also, Cozy K spread the wealth. Okay, so I guess I'd like to end with some questions for you. First of all, what are some cozy games that you can wholeheartedly recommend to others? And secondly, what advice would you give to someone who hasn't felt cozy since, you know, around the summer of 2019?
Now you're sounding crazy. Looking so phenomenal. Hit me like a kick to my abdominal. I can't shake it. Tell me what you wanna do, baby. Everything you're sweating through, baby. Working like a wave, but you waving hello. Kissing all my yesterdays. Good